So Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph does not hold back on Lamar Jackson. He gives one of the best analysis I've ever heard from a defensive coordinator on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. You guys have to hear it. Plus, the Broncos get a little bit spicy, and they put the Ravens logo on their practice field to practice on all week. Plus, we got a preview and look into this matchup with the Ravens offense is going against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, Coach Harbaugh, addressing the media, updates on Keaton Mitchell and Deontay Johnson, all that and more. Let's dive into the content. At number one, first and foremost, Lamar Jackson is back, baby. This comes after a little bit of concern after Lamar Jackson missed 2 practices in a row. Wednesday and Thursday, he returned to practice and just called it rest, saying it was a long season, but he was listed on the Ravens injury report with a knee and a back issue. He says there was no doubt that he was going to play in this game, but that he just needed some rest. And by the way, this Ravens offense that's already the best in the NFL, they're getting some more firepower with wide receiver Deontay Johnson, a very talented receiver, 3 games over 75 yards this season, plus 3 touchdowns, and they're getting their guy Keaton Mitchell possibly back this week. Here's what Lamar Jackson had to say on Keaton Mitchell and Deontay Johnson.
It's great to have him back out there. I told him earlier he caught like a little small pass and he took off. I'm like, he's starting to look like last year, Keaton. So it's great to see him back in good spirits. He always was in good spirit, but just to see him on the field with us is great to see. Pickup, great pickup. Guy can get separation like our other guys. Just got to see what he made of. You know, he's over here now.
At number 2, the Baltimore Ravens are going against a very high-caliber defense, and it's coordinated by one of the most comprehensive defensive minds in football, and Vance Joseph, who's had a ton of success leading this Broncos defense this year. They got a loaded defensive line. They can create havoc and pressure. They got a really talented secondary. The 3rd overall defense when it comes to yards per game, 4th against the pass, 3rd in scoring. They're a very, very talented defense, but they have not played an offense like the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson this year. We're going to talk about that here in a minute and talk about how they really haven't played any really elite offenses at all this season. But here's what Vance Joseph had to say on Lamar Jackson and this offense. Check out this really good deep level analysis.
You have to take something away, and my preference is the running game, and make them throw it. So we'll see how that works out on Sunday. But, we have a plan to get both stopped, but we'll see how it comes out. The positive, obviously, signs of a spy is when he does run, you can kind of track him down, right? But having the right person who can catch him, that's an issue, right? Because he's the fastest guy on the field for the most part. I think sometimes with a spy, if it's not an aggressive spy, he can sit in the pocket with a 3-man rush and just find open targets, and that's the issue with Lamar now. I think when he was a young quarterback, the spy was good because you want him to be a pocket passer. Now he's so accurate, that kind of works against you a little bit. So if you're going to spy a guy like that, it's got to be a push him off his spot spy. Not just linger and let him sit in the pocket and make completions, but kind of push him one way and then go grab him, spy. Almost a hunt versus a spy. But again, he's become a great passer. So the spies, non-spies, it's just hard to kind of know what's best until the game starts. So our challenge is going to be to play down for down and have an answer for the issues that as they come up, fix them quickly. That's our challenge. It's mid-season. Maybe he's a little beat up, but he's always answered the bell, so he's going to play. This offense again, when you have the Henry offense, which is NFL 101, it's the powers, it's the gap scheme, just outside zones toss. That's what we see all the time. But when you add the quarterback running game to it, that's the different element, right? Now you got to be disciplined, right? Now you're playing, who has to dive, who has to quarterback, right? Who's surfing for the extra gap. And the problem with that running game is the QB carries a gap, so you have to have someone who's taking 2 gaps, right? Or adding someone to the box who can take a gap. Now you're vulnerable in the pass game. So absolutely this week, eye placement is going to be huge, but just being disciplined in our assignments versus the QB running game is going to be critical.
So his goal is to first and foremost take away the Ravens' rushing attack. And he says, hey, Lamar Jackson can sling it downfield as well, but you want to take something away, and they have a plan to take both away. We'll see how successful that is. The Ravens' offense hasn't been tested with a ton of top-tier defenses this season, but they have played two pretty good ones. And the Kansas City Chiefs, that are a top-5 defense, they were able to score on them. And they also just played the Browns defense, who has a very talented defensive line, Darius Smith, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward back in the secondary. So they have played some tougher defenses, but this could be the toughest challenge of the season going against this Broncos defense. Here's another thing to watch in this game. Okay, the Broncos are second in the NFL in sacks right now. A very disruptive pass rush. They have Nick Bonito, who's having a career year, Jonah Ellis, Zach Allen, who's playing out of his mind, DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers, Jonathan Cooper, all on that front. And then if you look at the back end, they got Pat Surtain, who's arguably the best corner in the NFL right now. They have Riley Moss, free safety Brandon Jones, nickelback Jaquan McMillan, a ton of guys back there in the secondary. So not only are they super talented, but they're also just very well coordinated. Like the way that this thing, the scheme, the blitzes, the pressures, and the different looks with their coverages, they got it all going on right now. So with this pass rush, I want you guys to see this, because Lamar Jackson, this is the graphic, at the best quarterbacks in the NFL at avoiding sacks. Now, Lamar Jackson is one of the fewest sacked quarterbacks in the NFL this season. It's not because teams haven't gotten pressure on him. It's because he's so elusive and able to scramble, make guys miss, step up, break tackles, all of that stuff. So Lamar in this Ravens offense could make these Broncos defensive backs, these secondary guys, cover longer than they're used to. And if he can scramble around a few times and get these pass rushers to chase him down, they could get gassed pretty quick and kind of neutralize this Broncos pass rush that's been so effective this season. Another big question is, will Pat Surtain follow Zay Flowers, the Ravens' #1 receiving option? And if he does, do you trust Riley Moss one-on-one with Rashad Bateman or Deontay Johnson? Do you trust the linebackers and safeties to go one-on-one with guys like Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely? And then are you going to have enough guys in the box for a guy like Derrick Henry? And then plus, Keaton Mitchell could be coming back. It's a lot to deal with. That's why I thought it was really good analysis from Vance Joseph, talking about all the things you have to deal with, the running lanes and the gaps and everything, to deal with a dual threat quarterback like Lamar Jackson, and arguably the best in NFL history. So the Broncos defense has not played more than one top 12 offense this season. The only top 12 offense they've played and points scored was against the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers definitely don't have a run game like the Baltimore Ravens, definitely don't have an athletic, mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson, not night and day comparing him to Baker Mayfield. So I think the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to be challenged by this defense, very talented, but I still think they're going to make their plays. It's really hard to hold down every aspect of this offense the way they can challenge you with Derrick Henry and all the weapons, the quarterback designed run game, everything that the Ravens can throw at you, especially now they just added some more 11 personnel opportunities into their bag per se with Deontay Johnson. Zay Flowers, Deontay Johnson, Rashad Bateman as your 3 receivers on 11 personnel with Derrick Henry. That also opens up space for him to work. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a big challenge for the Ravens, but it's also going to be a big challenge for the Broncos. It's going to be high-level, fun football, 1 o'clock on Sunday. Let's flip over to the other side, because the Baltimore Ravens defense is one of the worst in the NFL this year statistically. What's weird, though, is the Ravens are still top 5 in the NFL in sacks. So they've gotten after the quarterback, but then there's other times where it feels like the quarterback just has all day to pick us apart in the secondary. So sometimes the rush and the secondary aren't lining up. That could be a coordinator issue, but they're desperately working to fix it. And I think sooner or later it is going to click. You have too much talent, and this is the Ravens we're talking about. They don't ever trot out a terrible defense for a whole season. They find something, they make something work, and the pedigree of this organization, they're going to find a way to make this defense better. Maybe it's not in a top 5 elite unit by the end of the season, but they're going to at least challenge you, and they're going to improve. I really do believe that. Keep in mind, last week, whenever the Ravens got shredded by the Browns, of all teams, Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey were out. Michael Pierce, Travis Jones was banged up. There's a lot of guys missing. Marcus Williams was benched to that whole reason. But John Harbaugh said today Marcus Williams will be back. Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey also both expected to play after practicing this week. So we got some boost coming to the Ravens defense. And check this out. The Broncos and Ravens game will be the first matchup in nearly 5 years in the NFL between a team scoring 30 points plus per game and a team allowing 15 or less points per game in week 9 or later. The Ravens are averaging 30.3 points per game, and the Broncos are only allowing 15 points per game. So something's got to give here. Does it go towards the 30 or does it go closer towards the 15? That's where it's going to get really fun. The Broncos defense, like we said, 3rd overall in yards per game, 282 allowed. 4th against the pass, allowing only 176 passing yards per game. And 3rd, scoring only 15 points per game allowed. For the Baltimore Ravens stopping the Broncos offense, I think it's pretty simple. Can we cover the running back and the tight end? Maybe that's oversimplified, but the Broncos use their running backs and tight ends a lot in the passing game, and the Ravens have struggled to recognize the routes and guys leaking out, assignment issues and stuff like that. We've given up a lot of yards to tight ends and running backs this year in the passing department. Can the Baltimore Ravens fix that issue? It's going to be a tough ask against Sean Payton, who likes to use those guys in the passing game and who's one of the best offensive minds in football, who has certainly been watching the Ravens tape and recognized that as an issue. But again, it is a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. The Broncos haven't had an elite offense. They do have a stud wide receiver in Courtland Sutton, but can Marlon Humphrey or Nate Wiggins try to match the physicality in Courtland Sutton and slow him down? I think the Ravens are up for the challenge. I'm going to go in this game, Baltimore Ravens 28, Denver Broncos 17. I don't think we are going to allow more than 17 points to this offense. If we do, I'm going to be a little bit upset. But right now I do have faith in this Ravens defense and bouncing back, and I also have faith in this offense to get up towards 30 points again, despite this being a very good Broncos defense. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. As always, smash the like button if you got any value out of today's content, man. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.